Widow is a recurring antagonist in the Shadow Fight video game series, known as the seductive demon of temptation. She first appears in Shadow Fight 2 as a major demon boss and later re-emerges in Shadow Fight 3 during special events, as well as in Shadow Fight Arena, also called Shadow Fight 4, as a playable character. A master manipulator who can seduce virtually any man with her charms, Widow plays a pivotal role across the series' storyline. This video covers her appearance and role in each title, detailing her backstory, alliances, conflicts, personality, motivations, key battles, and ultimate fate. Widow's origin story is one of love turned to vengeance. Once a woman in the mortal realm, she fell deeply in love with a noble known as the Prince of Ivory City. Her feelings, however, were unrequited. The prince rejected and even humiliated her, shattering Widow's heart. This trauma fostered in her a bitter hatred of men. She vowed to rule all men as a form of revenge. To achieve this, Widow began manipulating the prince's own warlord, Shogun, enticing him with promises of power. She offered Shogun a magical sphere that would grant him unrivaled strength as a warlord, but with a deadly catch: whoever uses the sphere would become her loyal slave. Unbeknownst to Shogun, Widow intended to use him to overthrow the prince and then bend Shogun himself to her will. This scheme unfolded in the backstory explored by the Shadow Fight 2, Special Edition, Old Wounds storyline. Shogun's attempted coup failed, the prince survived and even stole the sphere from Widow for himself. In the chaos, the wandering master Sensei, a companion of the prince, learned of Widow's involvement from other adversaries. Sensei tracked Widow to her hiding place and confronted her directly. Enraged and distrustful of any man, Widow and her followers attacked Sensei, determined to strike back for what the prince has done. Despite her fury and dark magic, Sensei defeated Widow's minions and then bested Widow herself in combat. Defeat forced Widow to momentarily let down her guard. Moved by Sensei's genuine resolve to stop the mad prince, she revealed what had transpired. Widow informed Sensei that the prince had absconded with the sphere and had taken Shogun to the place where she first met the prince, planning to execute him there. She warned that the prince, empowered by the sphere's magic, had become wild, a threat even she had grown wary of. This unlikely moment of honesty highlighted Widow's pragmatic side. While vengeful, she recognized an even greater danger in the prince's rampage and chose to aid Sensei with information once she believed his intentions. Beyond her personal vendetta, Widow's fate became entwined with cosmic events. Titan, an alien conqueror and the overarching villain of Shadow Fight 2, had orchestrated the opening of the Gates of Shadows, dragging 6 powerful fighters, including Widow, into the shadow world and binding demonic entities to them. Thus, Widow became host to a shadow demon, transforming her into an immortal, power-infused being, one of the infamous shadow demons who serve as bosses in Shadow Fight 2. When the protagonist Shadow unwittingly opened the Gates of Shadows at the start of Shadow Fight 2, Widow and the other demon bosses were freed into the world once more. Armed with her bitter resolve and now supernatural powers, Widow seized this second chance to exact her will upon mankind. In Shadow Fight 2, she takes the guise of a deadly courtesan, closely resembling a Maiko geisha in attire. She wears a flowing red kimono with bandage-like gray sleeves, and her dark hair is styled in a traditional shimada updo secured with decorative hairpins. Unlike a classical geisha, Widow eschews the white face makeup. Instead, she bears a single red, similar to a bindi, on her forehead. The kimono is cut away at her right thigh. In Shadow Fight 3, Widow updates her look while maintaining her signature style. She dons a luxurious red and black ensemble with intricate golden patterns. A layered coat with sharp, flowing designs drapes over form-fitting leggings accented in gold. An ornate red flower accessory adorns her elaborately styled hair. Though still beautiful, there is an unmistakable aura of danger about her. Notably, Widow's demonic nature gives her a pair of small horns, but thanks to her enchantment abilities, most people never notice them. Only those with strong will or those immune to her charm perceive the horns for what they are. For example, a dynasty prince named Tarlon and a savvy fangirl both saw through Widow's illusion in Shadow Fight 3, realizing something was off about her appearance. Widely, however, Widow's beauty literally blinds people to the devil in front of them. She continues to wield her trademark weapons, a pair of war fans. These fans are masterfully crafted, rich red and gold motifs with razor-sharp edges, combining artistry with lethality. In Shadow Fight 3 events, Widow's war fans are referred to as the wings of perfection, and she often carries enchanted silken fabrics, befitting her cover identity as a magical clothier. By the time of Shadow Fight Arena, Widow is reintroduced as an epic combatant with a visually enhanced design. In Arena, she remains aligned with the Dynasty faction and harnesses shadow energy. Her Arena incarnation emphasizes her demonic allure. One of her notable skins is literally titled Demon of Love, and another rare skin called Witch of Grievous Tears references her being the revered Nameless One of a cult, more on that later. She carries herself with regal poise, and subtle changes in her appearance occur when she uses her powers. Overall, across all games Widow's visual theme stays consistent. She is the deadly seductress, blending beauty with hints of the beast within. Widow's powers revolve around manipulation, agility, and dark magic. Her signature ability is her irresistible charm, a supernatural allure that can cloud minds. Narratively, she is able to brainwash or enthrall men into adoring and obeying her, earning the title Demon of Temptation or Demon of Love. Many of her foes end up fighting for her, enslaved by infatuation. In combat, Widow backs up her mind tricks with formidable physical skills. She is an agile fighter, using swift strikes and acrobatics. Her weapons of choice are her steel fans, which she wields with deadly grace similar to dual swords. Widow can use teleportation in battle, vanishing in a flash of cyan light and reappearing behind her opponent to strike, a tactic that can catch enemies off guard. She augments her melee attacks with shadow magic. In Shadow Fight 2 she casts magic spells like Energy Ball, Ice Ball, and an Ice Pillar to assault enemies from afar. Furthermore, her fans and throwable daggers in SF2 are imbued with lifesteal enchantments. Every time she lands a hit, she has a chance to magically siphon health, healing herself for a whopping 250% of the damage dealt. This makes her extremely durable unless one can avoid her blows entirely. She also has regenerative enchantments on her armor, allowing her to recover health over time after taking hits. In Shadow Fight Arena, Widow's abilities take on a new twist reflecting her story role. She can enchant a portion of the opponent's life, essentially marking it, and later destroy that enchanted health in one swoop with a special shadow ability. Widow enchants her opponent's health by using her special ranged ability called Sanguine Silk. When Widow enters shadow form, she traps the opponent by tying their hands and legs to the ceiling, teleports closer to them and then destroys all the enchanted health. This destruction of enchanted health is called Price of Love and the shadow ability is called Cradle of Agony. Intriguingly, one of her talents in Arena, Final Ritual, even allows her to resurrect once, calling on her Sanguine Cult's power to return to battle, restoring some health to both herself and her opponent as a dark trade-off. This mechanic ties into her character of mixing pain with mercy in a twisted way. Widow's personality is defined by vengeance, vanity, and a cold, calculating charm. Having had her heart broken, she developed a deep misandry, an utter contempt for men, and she delights in turning men into fools for her sake. Manipulative and cruel, she enjoys brainwashing warriors to fight each other for the privilege of her attention. In her view, love is a weapon and hope is a resource to exploit. As one in-game description notes, Widow knows that there is no more valuable resource than people who have lost hope. Pain and pleasure are her favorite tools. She is a master at feigning affection or benevolence to ensnare victims, for instance, posing as a helpful craftswoman in the dynasty or acting like an ally during festivals, only to satisfy her own dark agenda. Despite her hatred of men, Widow isn't mindlessly violent or savage, rather, she is cunning and patient. She prefers to weave elaborate traps and psychological games. She often speaks in a flirtatious, taunting manner, savoring the control she has over others. Here are some of her voice lines.
So needy. How have you been, sweetheart? You can trust me with your secrets.
Those who fall under her sway describe it like being intoxicated by desire. As Widow herself boasts, those intoxicated with desire and ambition are most susceptible to my charms. She exhibits a theatrical elegance, maintaining poise even in combat, and is not easily provoked to rage like some of her fellow demons. In fact, among the Shadow Fight 2 demons, she is noted as less outwardly aggressive than brutes like Butcher or Wasp, often letting her minions do the initial fighting. That said, Widow has a vain streak. She believes herself to be the most desirable and powerful woman, and she revels in admiration. I will grace this world with unparalleled beauty, she proclaims confidently. She tends to look down on those she ensnares, internally viewing them as pitiful creatures. She refers to enthralled men as good dogs who should obey. Interestingly, one of Widow's motivations beyond revenge is self-preservation against greater threats. Unlike many villains, she is fully aware of Titan's looming menace. She fears Titan and what his arrival would mean. Widow has no desire to become a puppet of a bigger tyrant. This is evidenced when she tells Shadow that Titan has been manipulating events from the start, warning even now, Shadow is doing what Titan wishes. She even implores the hero to reconsider reopening the gates of shadows, as Titan's minions are like nothing he's faced before. These moments show a pragmatic, almost self-aware side to Widow. She understands the hierarchy of power and would rather side with humanity's champions than allow an unstoppable foe to dominate. In a way, Widow's stance is anti-heroic when facing Titan. She'd betray her own demon kin if it meant keeping Titan at bay. This nuance adds depth to her character, making her more than just a one-note temptress. She operates on her own terms, loyal to no one but herself and her desire to never feel powerless again. Despite her cruelty, Widow isn't entirely emotionless. The fact that her villainy stems from heartbreak indicates that underneath the vengeance is a wounded soul. Sensei's observation that she could be reasoned with, once he showed empathy, suggests Widow buries her pain under layers of scorn. However, any pity one might feel is tempered by her ongoing actions. Widow chooses to inflict on others the pain she once felt. She often muses about love and eternity with a warped perspective. Forever is only as long as it takes for us to tire of it, she says, and agony is such a small price to pay for the gift of eternity. These quotes capture her nihilistic romanticism. She sees love as a game of power and immortality as a lonely dance where suffering is inevitable. All in all, Widow is one of the series' most complex antagonists, simultaneously beguiling and ruthless, driven by hurt but capable of calculated kindness when it suits her aims, and always seeking to turn the tables so that she is never hurt again.